Well, hello. Here again on the Soda channel to explain the refinements I made on the mortising machine for Dominoes. Improve the suction for the sawdust. Here you can see build a channel from the intake elbow, and I cut a channel deeper into the side of the wall, leaving a thin wall on the inside on the outside to create a channel to go to the front of the machine. You can see a substantial size. Here is a reinforcement I had to put on the outside to hold the elbow, because I cut the channel inside the wall and left it very thin. Here is the front fence with also a channel cut and a chamber created where the bit goes in. The chamber will allow the suction of completely 100% of the sawdust. You can see it here is the front of it without the fence, the vertical fence on it. Here in this picture you can see the vertical fence already attached to it, and a little piece of patchwood to create the channel in the front fence. Now this is the attachment that I have for the Dominoes, homemade Dominoes, and you can see this is an attachment. It's like it's a wing that I attached to the front on the fence, and you mark your little stick or your ladders or whatever it is that you need to put a mortise on. You align the center of that with the center of this line that is marking the center of the machine. So you align that, you close the wings, and you tighten the wing nuts that I have over here. When you have that done, you are ready to proceed. Let me show you. I'm gonna put these here on a holder that I just improvised, so I don't have to chase the piece of wood all over the bench table. So let me show you how I do that, and then we proceed to do the cut to make the mortise. Now this is the Dominoes I'm gonna use in this case. You gotta make sure that it'll fit and don't be too big or too small for the joint you want to make. So this is the tenet of the Dominoes we're going to use. Okay, this is the one. I already put the right size bit on the machine. As you can see, it's got the right size bit for that particular domino. I have the attachment on the machine. You can see it's this wing out here, and that'll already have the jig center. Have the jig center on the width of these, and the fence adjusted to the right height to come up to the center of the center of the ladders. Now we put the machine in there, like that. Make sure everything is copacetic, because I put it like a little bit too tight, but it'll hold it better. I put this here on the holder so I don't have to push it all over the table to trying to do it. I will turn on the vacuum, and I turn on the machine. Pay attention specifically on the amount of dust. It doesn't come out any dust out of the machine. Here you have it. The right distance from one end, so there won't be no protruding on one side or the other. Make sure that everything is flush. I have another one out here that I prepared. So I'm going to need to install the dominoes, and I'm going to push it in place. As you can see, perfect alignment and perfect fit. Thank you. Now I am going to demonstrate another attachment. If you permit me, I will move the camera to show you how to remove one attachment from here and install the other one. I'm going to disconnect the vacuum hose so I can point the camera at the... I'm working by myself, so I want to put the camera there where you can see better how am I going to remove it. To remove this attachment, I want to just loosen up a little bit the wing, because that keeps it tight against the fence. Also, it's double purpose. I will remove these wing nuts also. I don't want to step in front of the camera. I will remove these wing nuts. Just like that. And I will slide the attachment right out of it. This is the attachment. Here are the wings on the other side. They both move in order to center the narrow piece of wood in there. And you don't have to manually center and measure every piece of wood. This is a great attachment if you had to have a bunch of ladders or a bunch of narrow pieces of wood and put the mortars in. This is a great attachment, save you so much time. You go one after the other. Once you did the first one, you can do one after the other exactly the same. It's a great piece of attachment. Now what I do, I just put these wing nuts or wheel nuts or whatever you want to call it. I mean, screws or... I put them back in here. And notice, if you can see it, they have a brass inserts on here. So I don't have to tap into the wood. These brass inserts, they last forever. Every time I have a piece of a screw that I had to put in and out, it has a brass insert. See right here, I don't know if you can see inside, but it's a brass insert. So I do a brass inserts here where the wing nut tightens. It's all brass inserts, especially where you have to tighten and untighten the wing nuts. Now the other attachment that I have is this here. And you put this to keep it from moving. If I could start it. Okay. Now, you put these here. Anywhere you need to have it, you can measure how far you want to space your motors is, measuring from the center of the line to the center of that pin. Okay? You can even make a line alongside. That's a good idea, to measure the distance between that. And that's what it's going to do. is, for example, you have a piece like this. Let's remove this holder here, whatever you want to call it. This is just, I'm going to mark the first cut. Let's say over here. That's the first cut. Let me see if you can. It's inside the. I'm sorry about that. You can see the first cut. There. Okay. So then what do? You put the machine. You center the center line with the center line of the machine. Oh, sorry. Mea culpa. I forgot to reattach the vacuum hose. So, you align that with the machine. Turn on the vacuum hose. Turn on the machine. And then you cut your first mortise in the machine. You install this, and now you install the pin. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I'm gonna move this a little bit. Now you put that pin just like the one on Festool, and you pull it towards me in this case. You got the second mortise. So you can keep on going and cut the rest of it. And all I'm going to do is be equally spaced. And what it is it's an ipe made out of, this wood is made out of ipe. It's an ipe stick that I cut and resaw. And this also ipe. So that way it's this very dense wood, and it doesn't alter with humidity. So that way it doesn't, and it's very dense. It's oily. It's got a lot of resins in it. Okay? And I put the slider with a wing nut, so that way you can slide it at any distance you prefer, from the center of the line out here to the center of this pin. And you can repeat the cuts. So you can see here I have a scale with a center line and some adjacent lines in case I wanted to cut it a little bit wider. On the first one, for alignment purpose, I have the scale in the back out here. This is 0. It's the center for example, for dowels. Then you have an 11/16. Then you have a 1 1/8, 1 5/16, and 1 1/2. Just a scale over here. Now I have a scale over here that shows 90 degrees, 60 degrees, 45 degrees, 30 degrees, and 0 degrees will be flat. Like if you had to do a mortise hole in the middle of a 12-inch plank, then you can raise this all the way up flat, and you can align it with these marks, or you can align it with these marks on the side. So that will be it. And then you have, for example, here is the depth of cut. You can adjust it. Any depth of cut you want to do. Depends how long the mortise, because you can make your own mortises. I mean, your own uh, dominoes. You know, thicker, thinner, longer, shorter. This will be dominoes that I made. You can make it longer, you can make it shorter. Depends on the application. You can put one depth on one side. For example, like here you have a limited depth, and then you can, for example, make it longer on the other side. You know, the possibilities are unlimited of the things you can do. This is one attachment, and this is the other attachment. You can have 1/4 inch bits. I have a selection on here of bits, all the way from a 1/4 inch. The one is in there is 5/16. Hold on. Yeah, the one out there is 5/16. They have a 1/4 inch and 3/8. I mean, this is 3/8 1/4 inch shank, and this is a 1/2 inch bit on a 1/4 inch shank also. And I have a 5/8 here, and I have a 5/8 bit with a 1/4 inch shank. But all of them works perfectly. It doesn't have to have the spiral, up spiral, down spiral, or all those solid carbides. These bits work perfectly, and it costs a fraction of the upcut solid carbide. I have some, but most of the carbides that you want to have, it will not fit one of these smaller routers. This router most of the time has a 1/4 inch shank, a 1/4 inch collar, so it wouldn't fit this. So you will be limited to a maximum of a 1/4 inch bit. But with this, you're limited to nothing. Thank you very much. Oh, I wanted to show you something too. I'd like to pay very much attention to the efficiency of this dash control on this machine. I'm gonna drill another, and let me turn this on. This is a vacuum cleaner. I want you to pay attention of the efficiency. No dust came out of that. Absolutely nothing. So the efficiency is improved by 100%. Before it was very inefficient on the original machine, but now, as you see, improved by 100%. Thank you very much for watching.